Good morning and welcome to the Core Connection. I'm Mira Rubin here with you on Enlightened World Network. And today's topic is feeling the field. So many of us are empathic and pick up the energy around us, the emotional energy, the frequency of the field, and we don't even know it. And often have a hard time distinguishing what's me and what's the other energy around me. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Good morning, Rosalind. Welcome, welcome. So good to have you joining us this morning, and welcome to everybody else who's with us. Before we get started, let's just take a minute or two to get present. Let's take a deep breath in through your nose and hold it. And imagine clean, crisp oxygen flooding your lungs, flowing into your bloodstream, nourishing all your cells, all your organs, bringing vital life energy to your body and being. And as you exhale, exhale any tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's take another deep breath in through your nose and hold it. This time, imagine brilliant bright light, lighting you up from the inside out, illuminating, electrifying, and energizing all your cells, your molecules, your electrons, creating a brilliant beam of light and energy from your heart out into the world. And as you exhale, exhale any remaining tension, stress, negativity, fatigue. And now let's press our palms together. Vigorously rub your hands together to feel the friction, the temperature, the pressure, the motion, the tickling and tingling when you stop. And allow all those sensations to bring you present right here, right now, into this remarkable physical form that enables us to experience life. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, feeling the field. I think this is an important thing for those of us, particularly those of us who are empathic, to pay attention to. And it's easy to forget. I really didn't understand that I was empathic for most of my growing up. And I was very, what in retrospect, in learning about empaths, I've learned that we tend to pick up the energies that are around us, and having no way to distinguish what was me versus not me, because I was experiencing all of it. I was on a very wild emotional ride for sure. And I've noticed over the past few days, at least, that my emotional state has been dysregulated, shall we say, that there's been a lot of feeling really fragile and vulnerable in not like an open-hearted, expansive way, but um just delicate, I guess I would say. And then I was speaking to some folks last night, and they were saying, well, there's a lot going on. There's a collective experience of trauma from the fires and from the political transition, and there's a lot going on for a lot of folks and a lot of emotion. And I had been in an environment where there was a lot of emotion also, and I had forgotten. And I think that so many of us do, if we're even aware at all. It's easy to forget that we might be picking up on stuff that isn't ours. And because we can be very spongy You know, we can be absorbing stuff that we're not even conscious we're absorbing. And one of the practices that has helped me when I remember that maybe it's not all mine, uh, is to say, if it's mine, may I learn and grow from whatever the lesson is that's available to me. And if it isn't, I bless it and release it with power to heal. And that has helped me, whether it's an incantation of some sort that creates the shift of energy, but or if it's just a confirmation, hey, if it's not mine, I don't need to hold it. And somehow that helps to sort things out for me. And I offer it to you as a tool, as a practice that might support you also. Because I suspect that there are many of you listening who are very empathic, and there's a lot going on. So the question is, how do we create a space for ourselves where we're not that permeable, where we can be responsive, but we don't have to be absorbing and becoming the filters for all of this external energy. And a practice that has been very helpful to me, that I've actually employed over the past couple days, is a chakra alignment, an energy alignment, to sort of just balance myself again. And the process is pretty simple and very powerful, where you go chakra by chakra, visualize. So start with the root chakra and imagine a ball, and imagine that ball to be symmetrical, and imagine it to be centered in your body at your root, centered horizontally and vertically, so that it's truly creating the foundational root of an axis of energy that we're creating, or that is there maybe, but that we are aligning and concentrating, focusing. So once you imagine or visualize this ball in its place at the root, centered in your body, allow yourself to feel energy, the energy of that root chakra, and then go to the reproductive chakra and do the same thing. Imagine a ball, imagine it centered from side to side and front to back in your body, aligned with the root chakra. And when it's aligned, then imagine the energy moving from the root into the reproductive chakra and creating this energetic flow between those two chakras. And then we move into the solar plexus and do the same thing. Create that alignment horizontally and side to side and front to back in your body. And when you're able to visualize that sphere, then allow the energy from the root to the reproductive to the solar plexus, and allow that energy to circulate. And what we're doing is we're creating a channel, or refining a channel of energy. And then bring it up to the heart chakra, same process, centering the heart chakra, side to side, front to back in your body, aligning it with the other chakras so that you're creating this axis of this channel of energy, and allow the energy then to move through those chakras and then bring it up to the throat chakra and the third eye and the crown and the chakra above that, finally above the crown. And then what I do, once the energy is flowing through all these chakras, and you may feel it, I don't really feel it, I visualize it, but it's still effective, is, just imagining it. And if I actually, when I visualize, I say visualize, but I don't necessarily see something. I kind of talk myself through it. I kind of talk myself into it. So we might all have our different ways of experiencing this kind of exercise, but we can still imagine the energy moving through. You may see it, you may feel it, you may hear it, even, who knows, but allowing this channel of energy. And then what I do is, as it's all connected, I pull energy up through that channel from the earth, coming out the extra chakra, the beyond your head, beyond your crown. And then as it goes down in a toroidal sort of form, we're creating this donut, but I draw down energy from the heavens to come outside and down and around. So we're just creating this flow of energy that's connecting the heavens and the earth, and we're just connected through it. And I invite you to give it a shot, because what happens is, for me anyway, is it strengthens my own energy. A lot of people talk about protection, and I'm not so much about protection. I'm really more about strengthening my own field, reinforcing or reinvigorating my own field. And then that allows for greater discernment on my part. It allows for greater wholeness on my part. And as we're revolving this energy, we can then imagine it expanding. And so that expands our field. So it acts as a protection, but it's not coming from a place of fear. It's not coming from a place of protection. It's coming from a place of strengthening. And I think that that's an important distinction. I have this notion, and it may or may not land the same way for you, but when I think about protection, it's like that there's a threat that I have to protect myself from. And I choose not to live in a space of threat, and rather to just be creating greater integration for myself, greater alignment, literally, right? We're aligning these chakras or energy centers. And whether you believe in chakras or you don't, still this exercise is a balancing exercise where we're focusing on concentrating our own energy and moving that energy through a strengthened channel of light, and just creating this circulation of energy that brings us back to a solid core, and or a strong core. It's a core of light and alignment. So even if it's a symbolic gesture to go through this process, it's very powerful. I find it to be very effective. I find it to be very effective to bring me back to alignment with myself. And it's amazing to me how easy it is to forget, how easy it is to forget that we, as empaths, can be very spongy, that we can be absorbing all kinds of stuff from our environment. And it's very powerful to remember that we have the ability to say, hey, you know what? If it's mine, great. I'm here for the lessons. I'm here for the learning. And let me apply that. And if it's not mine, I bless it and release it. It's with power to heal. That's an affirmation that I came up with, and it feels good because to me, you try it on, see if it works for you. But to me, it allows me to maybe transmute that energy, but also not have to take ownership of it and not be at the effect of it. And it really, for me anyway, and I guess you get to experiment for yourselves, it actually lifts the burden, or it lifts the energy that isn't my own. I think that when we take on, when we're in a disrupted, what I was calling a dysregulated emotional state, it was pretty foreign to me. It's not where I live most of the time. It maybe is where I used to live a lot, but I had spent a week in close proximity with other people with sleep deprivation, that just did not get to sleep a lot. And it was, I think that I kind of, I lost my center without even realizing it, or I became more permeable without even realizing it. And recognizing it and acknowledging, oh, maybe I've taken on stuff that isn't mine. That's such a relief, right? But when we're in those states of fragility and vulnerability, there can be a sense of grasping, um, like, and confusion, I guess. Like, what's going on? What is happening here? Where is all this coming from? All this emotion, all this fragility. I found myself crying after a conversation with someone who was expressing their perception around AI and politics, and I just was like, you know what? I can't deal. I couldn't even cope with a conversation. It was wild, to just have these tears coming. And it was such a gift for somebody that I was still talking to. The one person had left and there were two other people. It was such a gift to have them say, you know what, there's a collective trauma that people are dealing with. There's a lot that people are experiencing. There's a lot of emotion and fear and disruption and confusion and upset, and that there's a lot of it going around, in other words, which was like a wake-up call and a reminder. Oh, maybe it's not all mine. I was taking it on like it was me. And it was like the inclination when we're experiencing that kind of emotional discomfort is to say, what's wrong? Right? Instead of looking at what's mine and what's not mine. And instead of looking at what's the opportunity. Because I that's my discipline, is to be looking at what's the opportunity, even in this discomfort. And so the opportunity that came out is to recognize, oh, maybe there's a way to realign myself. Maybe there's a way to reconnect. Maybe this isn't all mine. Maybe I had kind of expanded myself or diffused my beingness in such a way that I kind of lost my center. And going back to realign those energies to create that energetic flow that is aligned and central and brilliant and expansive, going back to anchor into that made a profound difference. So the opportunity that came up is, oh, I'm going through this, gave me the opportunity to share it with you. And hopefully it'll make a difference for you, because there's a lot going around. There's a lot flying around emotionally. There's a lot of disruption and confusion that we can all hook into. And we don't have to. We can brighten our own light. And in doing that, we feel better. We feel ourselves again. We're more capable and empowered to be able to interact with whatever's out there when we have this clear flow of energy. And life flows more readily. Life flows more easily. And we flow more easily in life. So I'm wondering if this resonates for you, if this is an experience you've had. I think growing up, so many of us, myself included, were told you're too emotional, you're too sensitive, or you're too much. And I suspect that so much of it, good morning, Jennifer. Hi, welcome. I suspect that so much of the too emotional, too sensitive stuff comes from being empathic and absorbing what's going on around you. And we took it on as if it was us when we were picking up stuff from other people. And that makes things ultra confusing, because we in that state of absorption, we don't have our own center. We don't have the clarity of our own light. So the chakra alignment practice is a really, really good practice to bring us back to our center, to ourselves, to our own light, which then enables us to interact with others from a place of clarity and groundedness. So I invite you to try that I don't know what to call it. It's more than an affirmation, but to try saying, if it's mine, I'm in for the lesson, right? If it's mine, I receive it and am willing to grow and learn. And if it's not mine, I bless it and release it with power to heal. And you may come up with your own variation that works even better for you. But to recognize that there's all kinds of energy going around all the time, and we don't have to be receiving all of it. We don't have to be permeable to it. We can be aware of it without having to interact with it. So that's it for this morning. I hope it's helpful. And these are tools for our growth and our engagement, tools for engagement, how to preserve and and enliven ourselves in our interactions with the world. So I'm Mira Rubin. This is the Core Connection, and I go live here each weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern on the Enlightened World Network Facebook page and YouTube channel. And I invite you to please like, follow, and share me and Enlightened World Network. The links are in the description. And as always, it's a gift and a pleasure to have the opportunity to have these morning musings together. So until next time, so much love to you.